Listen, I got to stop you there because hold on.
You can look at the Washington Post.
Ryan, we got to stop you there because you're literally making a connection out of your own conjecture.
No,
you cannot.
It's
just
a real
do
thing.
that.
Look up.
And I always tell you that it's interesting what they do at CNN because you always have the table of like 5 lefties. And then they throw in one sort of conservative-leaning person. We've shown you a bunch of videos of Scott Jennings lately, who's the sort of token conservative doing a nice job over there. There's another guy by the name of James Girdusky. I've met him a couple times here in Miami, trying to explain the Ferguson and George Floyd effect right before an election to some of the other CNN hosts. And watch this. This is really wild.
Just yesterday, Ryan, about how, in the context of riots, he was saying, let's just bring the military into it to deal with American citizens. I mean, that happened yesterday.
Right, but the post-George Floyd riots resulted in an excess of over 15,000 black male deaths in this country. How?
Yeah.
The surge of violent crime, it was like Ferguson, the Ferguson effect and the Floyd effect.
Respectfully, you got to explain to me how George Floyd's death.
Yeah.
Because I need causation here.
Yes,
because
what happens is after the Ferguson riot and after the Floyd riot, policemen, in fear of their jobs many times and political coverage, pull back from their jobs, resulting in an increased level of homicide.
Listen, I got to stop you there because, hold on.
You can look at the Washington Post.
Ryan, we got to stop you there because you're literally making a connection out of your own conjecture.
No,
you cannot.
It's
just
a real
do
thing.
that.
Look up the Ferguson effect. Look up the Floyd effect. It is a real term.
You cannot.
It's a real term. I didn't make this up.
Invent a connection between two things just because you want that connection to be there.
It's a little like a name. It's a real thing. You can look it up.
Right. It could be a right thing, but it doesn't mean it's accurate. Yeah.
Let's move on because
Look it up. I'll send you a reading list after the show.
Before we move on, I think there's
Hold on. I just want everyone to settle down because people cannot hear at home when everybody's talking at once, okay? Go ahead.
No, I just think there has to be a level of intellectual honesty. And one of the things we can talk about here when we talk about Donald Trump is he's actually somebody who never spoke out about George Floyd's death. And for me, it's kind of personal because as a black man, when you have someone with a knee on their neck for 9 minutes and some change and you're actually calling out for your mother while you're being suffocated on national TV and you are a parent and a son and a brother, that goes a long way. The kind of disingenuity or dishonesty for me is you cannot say that what happened during that time period is to blame for the deaths of other black men due to violence or what have you.
100% happened.
But that literally, and my point to you is that makes absolutely no sense. And I would argue to you as somebody that I'm not coming from a perspective where I want fewer police. I don't. I want police actually to be paid more. I just want better police, more qualified police. I want there to be a database where police, if they commit bad acts, they can't just go from one department to another. That's criminal justice reform.
Okay.
But George Floyd didn't cause 15,000.
And here, before you jump in, I mean, we should know that we're talking about things that happened when Donald Trump was president.
Right.
He was the president. So how is he not responsible for it?
Well, the president doesn't control local police departments.
Well, okay, but you're trying to blame crime on Joe Biden.
No, I didn't blame.
Okay, Republicans have blamed crime on Joe Biden, but you cannot. But you're saying that people who died when Donald Trump was president, that's not his fault.
I don't.
I don't agree with either blame being assigned to either president. I think presidents don't have a magic wand and they don't control crime from the White House.
Right.
But if you're going to say that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are responsible for a rise in crime.
I didn't say that, though.
Okay, so his name's Ryan, by the way. I think I said James. You can just see the way they don't want to deal with reality. His name's Ryan James Girdusky. The George Floyd effect, there are several headlines. You can check them yourself if you search on CNN. They talk about the George Floyd effect, the Ferguson effect, et cetera. And they completely disregard what he's saying as misinformation. And again, why? The broader point would be, why is it always one person trying to calmly make points and then everyone else sort of piling on? I want to tell you guys about a crime happening in the United States called house stealing, also known as title theft, where criminals can transfer your home's title into their name with just a single document and wipe out your equity without you even knowing. Many of you know I recently moved to Florida, which, like all other states, has become a hotbed for these crimes. In Sarasota, Home Title Lock caught a cyber thief from New York trying to sell a family's property on a popular real estate website. The thief had fraudulently changed the title, but Home Title Lock quickly detected it and restored the title back to the rightful owner. Imagine if they hadn't been subscribed to Home Title Lock. It could have been disastrous. If you're not monitoring your title, these criminals can get away with this this, leaving you, the homeowner, to deal with the aftermath in court. The best way to protect your equity is with triple lock protection from our friends at Home Title Lock. Triple Lock is 24/7 monitoring, alerts, and restoration services. Sign up today by going to HomeTitleLock.com and the promo code Rubin, and you'll get the first 30 days of triple lock protection absolutely free and a complete title scan of your home's title so you can make sure your home hasn't already been compromised. That's 30 days free and a title report for using the promo code Rubin at HomeTitleLock.com.